About 3 years ago, there was an explosion of crypto credit cards, but now they're all completely gone. Dead. They went away almost as fast as they came, and in fact, a lot of these cards never even made it to the market. It's proven very hard for crypto and fintech companies to break into the credit card space. So today we're going to be taking a look at all the survivors and comparing how they are now to when they were released. And then at the end of this video, we're going to be looking at all the cards that are no longer on the market. However, I'm only going to be covering cards that were or are available in the US. And one thing that I want to get out of the way is that rewards on credit cards are considered rebates, so they are not taxable. However, with these crypto cards, while you're not going to be taxed on the rewards, if your crypto earned from these cards increases in value and then you choose to sell it, then you will have to pay taxes on that. Alright, so let's jump straight into it and talk about my number one ranked card, which is going to be the Gemini card. This is going to be one of the few surviving cards that is a real credit card, meaning that it gives you a credit limit and it's going to report to all three bureaus and show up on your credit report. It's also the only credit card that's going to immediately deposit your crypto rewards. That means that the crypto lands in your Gemini account as soon as you swipe the card, so you're not going to have to wait a whole month, and you're also not going to have to try to time the market and pay all those trading fees. You can earn rewards in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of the other 50 cryptocurrencies that are currently available on Gemini. And unlike some of the other cards coming later on this list, the rewards are actually pretty good. You're getting 4% back on gas and EV charging, 3% back on dining, 2% back on groceries, and then 1% back on everything else. So this card does a good job and it hits all three of your biggest spending categories. There's only two problems. That 4% on your gas and EV charging is capped at $200 a month. So if you're a heavy spender on gas or you want to add an authorized user to this card, there's a very good chance that you're going to be exceeding that limit. The second problem with this card is that 2% back on groceries really isn't that good. There's tons of other no annual fee cards that'll give you 3% back on groceries, and some that even give you 5% back. But that being said, the rewards are still pretty impressive, especially when you consider that this is a crypto card. And what's even more impressive is the card design itself. All these cards are made out of metal and they're beautifully designed. You can pick 3 different colors to choose from. You have the black version that looks suspiciously like the Amex Centurion, the silver version, which looks a lot like the Amex Platinum, and then the gold version, which looks suspiciously like the American Express Rose Gold card. These cards are also designed with security being one of the top priorities because your card number is not actually going to be anywhere on the card itself. So if someone steals this card or happens to get a picture, there's not going to be anything on there. The fees associated with this card are actually pretty good. There's no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, and no exchange fees for your rewards. The only kind of dumb fee that I found, if you order a third replacement card within 12 months, you're going to have to pay a $20 replacement fee. But this honestly isn't too bad because there's a lot of metal cards that'll charge you a fee for your first card lost, and if you're losing 3 cards within 1 year, you honestly just need a lock-in at that point. There's no reason to be losing that many cards. Alright, so if we compare this card to when it launched in April of 2022, it actually got better. It gave you 3 points back on dining, 2 points back on groceries, and 1 point on everything else, but it did not come with the 4% back on gas and EV charging. So this card has actually been buffed a little bit. Overall, I think this is really the only good true crypto card on the market. Instead of over-promising and under-delivering, they under-promised and over-delivered. The only thing that's holding this card back from really competing is that it has no sign-up bonus. But besides that, I think this is a great card. Now, the next card on this list, you're not going to have to worry about any different spend categories or optimizing your card and using it correctly, because the Venmo credit card is going to do all the math for you. It adapts automatically to your personal spending habits, and whatever you're spending the most on, it'll give you the highest rewards on. The Venmo card is issued by Synchrony Bank, but this card is completely managed and integrated into the Venmo app. So the way that this card works is your highest spending category, you're going to get 3% back, your second highest spending category, you're going to get 2% back, and then all your other purchases, you're going to get 1% back. The categories you can choose from include bills and utilities, dining and nightlife, entertainment, gas, grocery, which includes wholesale clubs, health and beauty, and then transportation, and then travel. So just to give you an example of how this card works, let's say that you went out and you spent $1,000 on groceries and then $250 on gas. At the end of the month, it would automatically give you $30 back on groceries and then $5 back from your gas spending. And then after you earn those rewards, there's going to be a couple different ways that you can redeem them. So the first way is to have that cash back automatically go into your Venmo account. So that way you can send it to other people, or you can have it direct deposited into your bank account. Or the second way, and the reason why it's on this list, is you can have your rewards go and auto purchase cryptocurrency. You can get Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, or Litecoin. So if you have your Venmo card auto purchase crypto, you're not going to be charged any transaction fee. unlike if you were to just go and purchase it through Venmo. All right, so now that you understand how this card works, I want to explain the couple things that I like about it and then the drawbacks to this card. So first of all, they give you some really fun card designs to choose from. There's 5 different designs and the colorways are pretty cool, and you're also going to get your Venmo QR code in the center of your card. So that way your friends have no excuse for paying you that extra $2 that they owe you for gas. I also like that there's no spending caps on this card and that it has some unique rewards categories like wholesale clubs, meaning that you can get rewarded on places like Costco, Walmart, and Sam's Clubs, which are pretty hard to find cards for. There's really only 2 problems that I have with this card. The first is that there's no sign-up bonus that comes with it, so that might put you back a few years when you're earning rewards compared to a no annual fee card that gives you $100 to $200 as a sign-up bonus. And then 2 is those rewards are just a little bit underwhelming. However, if you do want a card that's automatically going to reward you in crypto, it's going to be hard finding a better card than this, which is why I put it in our number 2 spot. All right, so the next card that we're going to be talking about, you're probably familiar with, even if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency or credit cards. And that is because they have spent a lot of money on marketing. That company is going to be Crypto.com. They're a huge sponsor of the UFC. They signed a contract a couple years back paying UFC $175 million for a 10-year contract. So that's why you see all the UFC fighters wearing the Crypto.com fight kits. And a lot of the Crypto.com branding is intertwined with the broadcasting of the UFC. They also have the Crypto.com arena, which is actually pretty close to me, so maybe I'll go pay it a visit after this video. And also, this is one of the few cards that actually have personal experience with here, so I'll be able to share that with you in this video. So the TLDR version of these cards is there's 5 different versions, and the more money that you have of Crypto.com's coin, the better card that you're going to be able to get. So if you want to get one of these cards, you're going to have to go into Crypto.com's app, buy a certain amount of their coin, CRO or Chronos, and then stake it for at least 6 months. So you'll be able to get one of these, but you're not going to be able to sell off any of the coin that you buy for 6 months. Also, a disclaimer is that these are debit cards, meaning that you're not going to get a credit limit and none of this is going to show up in your credit report. All right, so let's go and run through these 5 different cards and discuss the different rewards and staking requirements that you're going to need to put in. So apparently Crypto.com decided that they wanted to completely ruin my day because right after I finished filming and editing this video, they announced that they were completely revamping all their debit cards, as well as making some major changes to their platform. They announced a completely new debit card called the Prime Card, and then in the second quarter of 2025, they have a credit card scheduled to release. Now, we don't know anything about this credit card, but unlike all the other cards that we're about to cover, this is going to be a real credit card. There's no information on this card besides that it's going to release. I don't know what it's called, what the rewards are going to look like, but if I had to guess, I don't think there's going to be a staking requirement like the rest of the debit cards. I think it's going to be similar to the Gemini card in rewards, but instead of giving you cash back, it's going to give you CRO. But that's just speculation. Let's now take a look at all their different debit cards and see what new rewards and staking requirements there are. So first up, you have the Midnight card. This one's going to be completely free. You don't need to stake any other coin, but it's not going to give you any other rewards. You then have the Ruby Steel card, and that's going to give you 2% back on all your purchases, up to $25 in rewards, meaning you can spend $1,250 each month. With this card, you're going to have to stake $500. The next tier is Jade Green and Royal Indigo, where you're going to have to stake $5,000 of Crypto.com's coin. With this card, you're going to get 3.5% back on all your purchases, but that's capped at $75 of rewards or $2,142 of spend. If we move on to the next tier, you then have the Rose Gold and Icy White. That's going to give you an uncapped 5% back on all your purchases, but you're going to need to stake $50,000 worth of their coin. You then have the Obsidian card, which used to be their higher tier card, and to be able to get that one, you're going to have to stake $500,000 worth of Crypto.com's coin, but you're going to get an uncapped 6.5% back on all your purchases. And then their brand new card, which is going to be releasing in the third quarter of next year, is going to be their Prime card. You're going to have to stake $1 million of Crypto.com's coin, but you're going to get an uncapped 8% back on all your purchases. Also, all the rewards with these debit cards are going to be paid out in Crypto.com's coin, CRO, but if you want, you can just sell that and immediately convert it to cash back. You also get some benefits that come with these cards. They added some CRO reward lockups, so that's going to be interest that you're earning, and you're going to get that whether the coin goes up and down, so you have a little bit of added security. And with all these cards, you're going to get a personal cash account, which I believe is going to be pretty much the same thing as a bank account, so that's definitely a step up from the spend account that they have right now. You also get some cool things with some of these cards, like free Spotify and Netflix. You get free lounge access on the Jade and Indigo cards, and then all the tier cards above that, you also get that lounge access, but you can also bring one person into that lounge with you. So overall, I really like what Crypto.com is doing here. They're making a lot of innovations to their platform. The ability to buy all your stocks and bank with Crypto.com is going to be huge because if you trust them, you can essentially do all your finances in one app. And I think all these positive changes is going to drive up the price of CRO over time. Since I recorded the last part of this video, CRO's already shot up by like 20%, and all crypto is rising quite a bit since Trump got elected. But my opinion on these cards still remains mostly the same. The changes just made to this card is definitely an improvement of what you had before. You're getting a lot better rewards, but these cards just depend so much on the price of CRO. Let's say you had the Prime card and you're getting 8% back on every purchase. That's not going to matter if the price of Crypto.com's coin drops by 50%. So I'm definitely going to keep the CRO that I have for a while because I think the price of the coin's going to rise up. But as far as these debit cards, I don't think it's worth it for me and most people to tie up $1 million, $500,000, even $5,000. Plus these cards have already changed like 5 times since they released, so chances are they're going to be reworked again. Crypto.com is going to be willing to give some extra rewards right now to try to acquire customers, but after they have the amount of customers that they feel that they need, they're probably also going to cut the rewards on these debit cards. So while on the surface these may seem kind of cool, they give you metal cards for all of them except the royal blue, and if you have enough for their coin, they can give you some pretty decent rewards. But there are a lot of things that make this card kind of dumb, and one of the reasons that I don't like this card is because all of the stupid hidden fees. You're going to have to pay a card insurance fee of $4.99 for the midnight blue, and then if you want to load up your spend account, you're going to get charged a 1% fee if you use a debit card, a 3% fee if you use a credit card, and then a 2.1% fee if you use PayPal. And then for the bottom 3 cards, you're going to be charged a 3% foreign transaction fee. There's also a $4.95 if you don't use this card for 12 months. And if you lose one of your debit cards, you're going to have to pay $50 to get them replaced for all of them except the midnight blue, which you would have to pay $7 for. This is maybe something that I would get in high school before I was able to get a credit card because I was attracted to the cool metal design, but practically I don't think these cards have very much use. The risk of locking up thousands of dollars to get a couple percentages on a debit card just really isn't worth it. I also don't really like the Crypto.com app because it almost feels like I'm gambling. Like when I went in to set up my account, I ended up buying $50 more of crypto than I originally planned because they tell you things like, oh, if you just buy $10 more of this coin, we'll give you $5 free, and then it just keeps going and going, and there's missions, and the whole thing's gamified, which I really do not like. So overall, these cards are pretty trash in my opinion. There's no reason to get that and lock up crypto for 6 months, but this is still not the worst card on this list. And in last place, we have the Coinbase Card. And that might be a surprise to some of you because when this card first came out, it had really good reviews. But this card is now nerfed to the point where it's pretty much useless. This is another prepaid debit card that comes with a spending account where you can load up and spend cash, or you can put your crypto in it and spend it. But there are a lot of problems with this card. First, there's a 2.49 transaction fee when you convert your crypto for crypto payments. And this card's only giving you 0.5% in rewards, so any of the rewards that you would be earning is immediately wiped out if you use your crypto to buy things. So the only way to get positive value out of this card is if you put cash into that spend account and then use it like a prepaid debit card. But like I said, this card's only going to give you 0.5% of rewards, which is absolutely horrible. I also do not like that this card hides all of the important information on their websites. So I had to go through Reddit forums and Discord to find information about this card. If I'm going to trust a company with my money, at the very least, they can at least give me the most basic features of a card. This debit card also has a lot of security problems. When I was scrolling through Reddit and looking at everyone's different stories, one of the most common things that I saw popping up is that everyone complained about fraudulent charges on their card. Also, the rewards that you're going to be getting with this card is constantly ending, and they're going to throw in random new cryptocurrencies every couple months that you're only earning 0.5% back on. This card's glory days are long gone. When it first released, it gave you up to 4% back on cryptocurrencies, but this card's like Aaron Rodgers. It's completely washed. All right, now that we ran through the current cards available, let's take a look at our fallen soldiers. The first is the BlockFi Rewards card, which was discontinued in 2022. You then had the Upgrade Bitcoin Rewards card, which was canceled last year so that Upgrade could focus on their cards that were not crypto related. There was then the Binance card that was pulled from the market in December 2023 because of regulatory concerns. There's then the Brex card that used to give a redemption option for crypto, but it no longer does that. The SoFi Unlimited 2% back card used to have a redemption option for crypto, but that was removed at the beginning of 2020. And then cards that never even made it to the market is the Albra crypto card and then the Unify Premier card. These were cards that were targeted for a 2022 launch, but they never made it to the market. All right, so my overall thought on all these crypto cards is they're honestly pretty trash. And in my opinion, these debit cards suck. The best card on this list is by far the Gemini card, but there is another card called the AAA Daily Advantage card that instead of giving you 4% back on gas and EV, 3% back on dining, and then 2% back on groceries, gives you 5% back on gas and EV charging, the same 3% back on dining, but it gives you 3% back on groceries as well. Plus that card comes with a $100 sign-up bonus. And remember, you can always just take the rewards from a good cashback card and then buy cryptocurrency if you wanted to. Of course, then you might have to pay trading fees, so it really just depends if it's worth it for you or not. But for most people out there, I think that you'd be better off going with that AAA card or a flat rate 2% card like the PNC Bank Cash Unlimited, and then buying crypto with the cashback rewards from those cards. If you want to learn more about the AAA cards, click here. And if you want to learn more about the Gemini card that I talked about at the beginning of the video, click here.